Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll look at a very cool company that is equipping teachers to be their very best. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Well, during the pandemic, we gave a lot of glory to the frontline healthcare workers, but I would suggest to you the real unsung heroes during this pandemic were our teachers. And how are we equipping them to be their very best? To talk about that today, Michael Rossi and Andrea Coachman with Warren Instructional Network. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Michael, let's start with you. So what is Warren Instructional Network?
Warren Instructional Network is a group of 5 of us that we work across the state to really put the best resources and the best support into our school systems, right? So we work directly with districts and really want to know what it is that they need when it comes to literacy and reading and writing, and then helping support those initiatives that they tell us about.
And you're more than just supplying them with textbooks and materials. You're really hands-on, aren't you, Andrea?
Yes, definitely. We work to find the potential gaps that a district has, and then with our resources go in and fill those gaps. But then, more than that, we don't want to just throw it at them and run. We want to be there to help implement with training and help model in classrooms and help really give that district everything they need to be completely successful with the resources that we provided.
Yeah. Tell us about the pandemic, Michael, and how did that change, just how our kids are receiving information?
Well, being out of school for a year, right? Most of our school districts realized that there was a huge need for intervention because it was, the kids weren't in the schools with the teachers, right? And so we all found, as a parent of 4 and a parent of 2, we all found the value in teachers and our kids being in the classroom with those teachers. When that wasn't the case, when they came back to school, a lot of kids were behind. And so there was a big need for assessing those students to find out where they are on an independent reading level. And then also giving them that intervention and finding out what works best for them, what are the needs of each kid. And it was a struggle for a lot of teachers, a lot of parents. And so, our goal was just to help be a support system for that, because it was it was something unlike we've never seen anything like that before. So we had a lot of conversations with school districts and administrators and campus leadership, and then it was how can we help, and through it all I think we've started to kind of push kids back to the level where they need to be, and maybe some acceleration to a higher level, but it was tough times.
Sure. Andrea, tell us how education is changing, because when I was in school, it seemed like a one-size-fits-all approach. We all got the same textbooks, and children learn at different levels, don't they?
Yes. Oh, gosh, yes, definitely. I think, and even when I was in school, there was still, I think back to, when I was in elementary school, and it very much was that here's the one text that we're all going to read, and then everybody is going to do the same activity, with that. And that's how we're going to figure out if you get it or if you don't. And that's definitely different. And, as we know, I know thinking about my 2 kiddos and Michael with his 4, we want the best for our kids. And that means meeting them where they are. And so being in a classroom that absolutely has some grade level whole group activities, reading some very rich texts and, being excited about literacy, but then moving into small group instruction where for my kiddos who are a little farther behind, I can work with them explicitly on where they are, whether, in reading, in writing, in phonics, and then move to independent work where they get to choose what they're reading. And you really get to see that spark for reading come alive in the classrooms in the districts where, we're fortunate to go in and provide some resources. So definitely different than I think what we all experienced, but
Sure.
What an awesome place to be where you're seeing teachers meet the needs of every single kiddo where they are.
We've got some pictures off of your Facebook page of how you guys really are in the classroom working with the teachers to explain how the materials work. Michael, why don't you pick up on that? Why is that kind of customer service so important?
I would say that the goal is partnership, right? We want to be a partner with these districts, and so that means not just selling a product or a resource and then leaving, but really getting in and finding out what those teachers and students need to start off with, right? And that starts with a lot of open-ended questions and just saying, what is it that you value in literacy? What is it that you need? What are some of the gaps that you're seeing right now in the classroom? And then helping them understand, right? Because if you think about, like, if you were to go into a huge store with a bunch of products in there, right, it can be overwhelming, right? So what our focus is just to help identify the need, and then we can narrow it down. And then the district chooses what they feel is best for their kids. And then also just afterwards, it's never just a sale, and then, right? So we want to make sure we're shipping the resources the best way. We may palletize by campus, right? So if a shipment goes to a school district, we may say, let's get these campuses in bunches, right, or in groups, so that it's more easily funneled out to the campuses. And then we have that conversation about implementation. What are the best fits when it comes to, like, what you see that professional development side, which is where Andrea comes in. But it's never a one time. It's many conversations, and that's the partnership that we value, and I think our districts value in us.
Andrea, what kind of feedback do you get from your customers?
Well, I think that we're always open and honest, and I think that's the best thing. I feel like our districts really, we have a personal relationship with them, and so we always are hoping and want to hear that what we're doing is working. That they feel supported, that they feel like we weren't just giving them resources and then we're like, okay, see you later, but that they know they can come to us like, hey, that training went really well. We need to do another one like that. Or I think our messages were a little mixed. Can we have a follow-up and really go deep on, A, B, and C? So it's very open, and the feedback is always great, regardless of if it's very positive and, like, woohoo, we did a good job, or if it's that we need to do something different. But I think the biggest thing is that it's always a two-way street, and that I feel like our districts feel very comfortable coming to us regardless of if it's good or bad.
Michael, what's your favorite story of a district you helped?
Yeah, so this is year 8 for me doing this. I was a teacher before that for 10. So starting out, I didn't have a ton of sales background, right? So went into a district, and it was like, this was right when we were transitioning from that basal reader that Andrea was talking about, where it's every kid reads the same story, no matter their independent reading levels or whatever it is, every kid's reading the same. Well, so over time we found out that was not necessarily the best way to teach kids reading and how to read. So small group instruction, enter small group instruction, and that's in the form of teachers reading with kids at their own independent reading levels. And so the district that comes to mind didn't have any of that, right? They were still in the era of the basal reader, and they had a new coordinator that came in and said, I can't believe we don't have any leveled libraries on any of our campuses. And I thought, well, this is going to be super easy, but I didn't come to find out it wasn't necessarily easy, because we started a pilot with 13 campuses, and those 13 campuses got to see our approach to it, which was we shipped the leveled libraries. And a leveled library in this case, there were 550 titles in English and 550 titles in Spanish, and every title has 6 copies each, and every title has a lesson guide. There's a lot to manage. Those are 6,000, 7,000 books. So when they were shipped, we went in and personally set up all of the campuses and set their libraries up. I met with all the principals to let them know this is what's going to be in your library. This is what, these are some look-fors. And we trained them. We trained them on the implementation, the first touch of just working with the teachers. But then also we found the value of going in and teaching those teachers and modeling these lessons for teachers, and then observing the teachers teach, and then having those conferences afterwards. And that individual touch was very supportive. And then after that, they decided to go in on the other 34 campuses. And so we got to do it all over again on a larger scale, but I think we helped so many kids in that district just read. I know that teachers learned how to teach at a really high level, and then I've had some district administrators say that was the best training we've received in their entire careers of education. So it was just awesome all the way around.
And Andrea, I think you would agree with me. It's tougher being a teacher today than it was when we were in school.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, every opportunity I have to talk with teachers. I mean, last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, and so you take extra time to say thank you and find those teachers that touched you, in your life and are like, thank you for the work that you do. But now, I mean, more than ever, there's so much extra on their plates, thinking, okay, I know what I do. I have, my curriculum. I know how to handle this. But then you add on, but these kids aren't coming to me where they used to. So now I'm having to maybe talk to the grade level below, like, well, how was this kid, and what did you do to support them, and how do I, I'm a middle school teacher, but I need to learn some of these elementary foundations, and I need to know how to meet these kids where they are, and that maybe wasn't in my wheelhouse before. So teachers, add a notch to all the thing, or a badge to the sash, because that is some next level superhero right there.
Yes. All right, Michael, we'll give you the final word. What would you like to leave people with?
Well, first of all, just one more. The whole, on the teacher side, I have a kindergartner, a third grade. Just the personal touch has been lacking from, they weren't able to, right? Like kids behind screens and teachers with masks. They can't even see like their teachers' mouths when they're trying to articulate sounds. And so like I find one of my kids who's a little bit behind in his speech. And I know that's because like there are so many different oddities that have happened over the past 2 years that it's just really, it's affected our teachers, it's affected our students, our families. Where we want to come in is just like, again, understanding the needs, whether it's at that scale where it's COVID has really affected where we've been and we need to like get back on the track.
Yes.
Or if it's just whatever it is, through the new, there's a phonics mandate or intervention, right, through our House Bill 3, anything that it is, like we are so flexible and have so many different resources and have so much manpower in the professional development side that it's always our goal to partner with districts wherever they are. And I think that's where we can really set ourselves apart as a company. We're here for the district. It's not what we want, it's what you want, and you let us know and we will meet you where you are. And we will walk right alongside you on the trip.
Outstanding. You guys have been great guests. We're going to leave with the website. Andrea, why don't you give us the domain name?
Yeah, it's warreninpd.com.
Outstanding. Thanks for both of you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Us.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.